every single Thursday, without fail. You guys really can't just not act like a clown in front of everyone, huh? You already got your L's handed to you twice this week, and now I have to make a third video already? I just wanted to play a video on my days off.
Make sure no one is in the bar today, okay? I cannot have those guys in here making a mess. You got it?
Welcome back, everyone, once again to Tales from the Twit Pit. Insert quip about idiots here. Today we got some very interesting news from Tom Warren on Twitter regarding the Activision Blizzard deal. I guess I finally have to make a video on this, don't I?
I'm tired, boss.
According to Tom, the CMA has published responses from 6 different game companies regarding the deal, all of whom say the deal should in fact go through. One going so far to say that it's sorely needed to level the playing field. I don't know about going that far, but regardless, the fact of the matter is that the only companies opposed to the deal are now currently Google, who don't even have a foothold in the industry and thus their thoughts on the matter mean dirt, and Sony, who have been desperate to get the deal shut down. Hell, Jim Ryan just flat out said that evidently. Now, my position on the deal has not changed. I just don't really care. If it goes through, okay. If it doesn't, okay. Quite frankly, the only reason I'm starting to lean towards the deal going through is because hopefully Microsoft can finally clean house at Activision Blizzard and get all the awful people out of there and create a stable and healthy work environment. However, I did find this little tidbit fascinating. On PlayStation, we found our sales growing stagnant with each release. This is mainly due to the fact that despite PlayStation having the lion's share of player numbers and console sales, that share is mainly provided to larger titles from huge publishing labels, and or developers and publishers who are willing to spend lots of money on paid marketing within the PlayStation console. This means that on PlayStation, it simply isn't a level playing field for every publisher and developer. It has meant that as the years have gone by, if you put a smaller title on PlayStation devices now, your title will rarely appear organically to PlayStation players. Instead, you are 100% reliant on players knowing about your game already, and searching for it on the store. On Xbox, the opposite has come true over the last several years. There are numerous means of players finding your game on Xbox, including special sections on the store, and through the Xbox Game Pass service. As a result, we found that, despite Xbox having a much smaller player number and console sales than PlayStation, our games sell just as well on Xbox, since more players are finding our games there. We usually find that the revenue we now make from new games is more on Xbox than PlayStation due to this fact. Again, despite Xbox being the smaller platform in many ways. So we have a developer admitting that PlayStation has trouble organically showcasing lesser known games, and that despite the smaller install base, sell just as well on Xbox, and they found they ended up getting more revenue from Xbox as opposed to PlayStation. Which, if true, ouch, not exactly a point in Sony's favor. But with all that out of the way, let us begin.
3 anonymous letters and one from a company that's worked with Microsoft for about 15 years. Hardly valid opinion. It's possible Microsoft paid or persuaded those responses. You can tell Microsoft is desperate to get the deal through. Makes me wonder why. Time will tell. Anonymous companies out here doing Microsoft PR for free. Anonymous. Interesting. It's almost like they're hiding something. 3 anonymous indie studios and a studio that's worked closely to Microsoft for 15 years. Can't say I'm surprised.
You look like you need a hug.
Ah, yes, because anonymity means we shouldn't listen to whatever they have to say, right? I mean, after all, no one who ever wanted to remain anonymous had anything of import to say. Obvious deflection aside, you idiots do realize the reason most stay anonymous is so they don't strain their relationship with PlayStation, right? It would be the exact same situation if they were coming to support Sony's side. But I guess critical thinking is kind of impossible to do on your part.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Level the playing field. Microsoft owns the PC and console space. Did people forget Microsoft makes Windows and Xbox? LOL.
Call Moon, Baby Doll, Honey Pie. The PC is an open platform. That means you are not required to use the Windows OS if you don't want to. You can use Linux. As for owning the console space, last I checked, PlayStation and Nintendo still exist, so I'm not sure what your point is. Did you forget that your Twitter profile is not supposed to be a representation of your brain?
This guy! Come here! Come on! That's crazy! I'm not putting on! Okay.
Just gonna leave this here. Some of these devs say they have a hard time getting exposure. Here are some examples of games that were massively successful because of PlayStation. They complain because their games suck. It's not 1995 anymore. Make better games.
Well, he's got me now. Or does...
Oy, this guy. Okay, 1. Deep Rock Galactic already had a big player base on PC before it even came to consoles, so its success on PlayStation was likely due more to word of mouth, just like Vampire Survivors when it finally hit Game Pass and Xbox. 2. Fall Guys died so fast they got acquired by Epic Games, but more importantly, congratulations, you just proved the point the devs were making. Which is, unless you shell out massive amounts of money to Sony for marketing, it's going to be hard for a lot of indie games to be shown organically to players on PlayStation. Destruction All-Stars launched on PS Plus, and look what happened to that mess. But I don't know what I expected from someone who poorly photoshopped a PSVR 2 headset onto their profile. I swear to God, I have yet to see a coherent thought from anyone with a profile picture like this.
Why are people shelling for Microsoft?
I don't know, why are you guys sucking off Sony so vigorously?
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
Buying up huge publishers isn't leveling the playing field. Maybe if Microsoft actually focused on their own studios instead of trying to buy up all these publishers, they would have done that by now. Funny how Sony didn't need to buy up huge publishers to get where they are. Funny that PS didn't need to spend $70 billion on the biggest independent publisher in the world to compete with Nintendo or Xbox.
Yeah, you know what? You guys are right. Sony didn't need to buy a big publisher. All they did was buy numerous developers piecemeal, paid for exclusive content, and locked games on their platform for timed exclusivity. Man, how could I not see it before? Clearly, Sony is more pro-consumer than Microsoft is at this point. And in case you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm.
The deal is bad and harming the industry. Microsoft slips $5 in my pocket. The deal is good and important for the health of the industry.
I haven't got time for this Mickey Mouse bullshit!
I'm gonna be honest, I have yet to see a real argument as to why this deal is bad, other than they might take away Call of Duty. As if Microsoft is going to give up the massive profit and revenue they'd get from selling it on PlayStation. Besides, Microsoft is still willing to sign an agreement with Sony to keep COD on PlayStation, it's just Sony doesn't want to play ball. So if the deal goes through and COD does end up no longer being on PlayStation, you have no one else to blame but Sony. Microsoft signed conditional contracts with Nintendo and Nvidia, so what's Sony's beef? And I just know some of you with no idea how business works are going to comment, they can still take it away, not understanding breaking contractual agreements can result in very negative outcomes for them that would be easy to avoid by just not doing that.
Microsoft paid journalists as FTC asking Microsoft for detailed documents that were 24 times should be ignored because his preferred platform is Xbox.
If you don't shut your mouth, I will kill you.
My dude, you get your news sources from sites like PlayStationLifestyle.net and PlayStation Universe. You are in no position to call out anyone else for bias. Jim Ryan is not going to come to your house and give you a sloppy toppy, Jay. It's time to move on.
All 6 companies were likely handsomely paid by Microsoft to draft their positive opinions when there is nothing good that this deal will bring to gamers. How taking away biggest franchises on the planet away from PlayStation users will help the gaming scene. Do Microsoft really think people will buy Xbox to play games they take away from other platforms? Hell no! It's not the same as creating an IP from scratch using your first-party studios and making it exclusive to one's platform.
Anything else?
Of course! Of course! Anyone who has something positive to say about Microsoft or negative about Sony must be paid off. It's all a grand conspiracy against the underdog Sony. Once again, Microsoft is more than willing to keep COD on PlayStation and is willing to sign a legally binding agreement for at least 10 years. I'm sorry, but they have been more than fair regarding this deal, and yet Sony wants to keep kicking up sand and pout. And it's funny, all I've heard for years from you fanboys is, do you want to play X game? Go buy the system. But now that it seems possible that mindset will apply to COD and Xbox, suddenly it's all, no one's going to go to that platform to play it. Can I say, other than cope and seethe, fanboys?
Cope!
What?
Yeah, that's right, cope!
What in tarnation does that even...
Cope, seethe, maul.
You listen here, you string bean.
Seethe,
You ain't
cope.
And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I can't believe I managed to put out 3 videos this week. A momentum I hope I can keep, but let's be honest, it probably won't happen again for a while. Once again, be sure to tune in tomorrow for the 2,000 subscriber special. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. As always, to stay up to date on all things crab, you can follow me on Twitter via the link in the description below. And if you want to join the Discord, you can do so via the link in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next video.